We still have some craziness within the market, all surrounding, of course, CeFi, which is, for the uninitiated, centralized, decentralized finance, meaning you have some sort of centralized entity that takes a customer's cryptocurrency and then they invest it into DeFi for you, and in a return pay you a high APY. And they have been collapsing left and right. Everything from Three Arrows Capital to Celsius, which is what we're talking about today. KeFi CEO behind OXB1 Twitter account sues Celsius for Ponzi scheme. The self-doxed DeFi entrepreneur Jason Stone alleges that Celsius used customer funds to manipulate the markets. I mean, isn't that how they get the high percentage return? Is this surprising at all? Not really. DeFi entrepreneur Jason Stone, one of the individuals behind yield farming account OXB1 and CEO of KeFi Incorporated, is suing crypto lending platform Celsius for allegedly refusing to honor its contract. Stone is seeking damages for an amount, quote, to be determined at trial, end quote. In the lawsuit filed in New York on Thursday, KeFi alleges Celsius used customer funds to manipulate crypto asset markets and had failed to institute basic accounting controls which endangered those same deposits, and had failed to carry through on promises. I mean, if you're going to shut down withdrawals, which is what Celsius did, that by definition to me is manipulating the market, right? They shut down with the withdrawals. There's only 15% of the CEL token within circulation within DeFi outside of their platform, and therefore, of course, increasing the demand for that particular token, and that corresponds to an increase in price, and that would be market manipulation, in my humble opinion. In a lengthy Twitter thread, Stone said the DeFi account OXB1 was managing nearly $2 billion in assets for Celsius at one point, and that Celsius assured him that it was taking adequate risk management measures, such as hedging any potential impermanent loss from our activities and liquidity pools. In simple terms, impermanent loss occurs when the price of tokens deposited into a liquidity pool changes compared to the price at which they were deposited. This can lead to a loss of value if traders withdraw in the interim. Though decentralized exchange fees paid out to liquidity providers can mitigate losses. But Celsius' promises were empty, according to Stone. In late February of 2021, we discovered Celsius had lied to us, Stone wrote. They had not been hedging our activities, nor had they been hedging the fluctuations in crypto asset prices. The entire company's portfolio had naked exposure to the market. Per the lawsuit, Stone also learned that Celsius' alleged lack of proper accounting led to a reported $200 million liability that Celsius did not even understand how or why it owed. A few weeks later, in March of 2021, Stone and the team behind OXB1 decided to cut ties with Celsius. But during that departure process, Celsius reportedly suffered impermanent loss. Stone told Decrypt via Telegram message that this unwinding process of the KeFi and Celsius relationship has no correlation with Celsius' subsequent impermanent loss that followed. Impermanent loss is a function of being in liquidity pools, he told Decrypt. The exposure needs to be managed. Stone wrote on Twitter that Celsius reportedly owes KeFi a significant sum of money, and he has been trying to resolve the issue for over a year. Celsius has refused to acknowledge the truth of their failures in risk management and accounting. Stone wrote, adding that he is taking legal action against the firm in an effort to settle this issue once and for all. Surprisingly, the lawsuit states that Stone and KeFi operated without any formal written agreement, despite KeFi reportedly generating hundreds of millions of dollars for Celsius and its customers. According to the lawsuit, the recent revelation that Celsius does not have the assets on hand to meet its withdrawal obligations shows that defendants were, in fact, operating a Ponzi scheme. Quote, as customers sought to withdraw their Ether deposits, Celsius was forced to buy Ether in the open market at historically high prices, suffering heavy losses, end quote, the suit explains. Faced with a liquidity crisis, Celsius began to offer double-digit interest rates in order to lure new depositors, whose funds were used to repay earlier depositors and creditors. KeyFi's legal filing comes just a few weeks after Celsius reportedly hired advisors to help prevent a potential bankruptcy following news that Celsius suspended withdrawals on June 13th for all its customers. Decrypt has not independently verified the lawsuit claims, and Celsius has not responded to Decrypt's request for comment. At the end of the day, when we talk about CeFi, and when we talk about crypto in general, we have to maintain principles to maintain protection of our own assets and investments. And one of those within cryptocurrency that still seems to remain true is it centralized or is it not? And if even one piece of the project is centralized, you may want to question whether or not you should be invested within that project. Celsius is just another example of many that have basically ended up, destroying lives at the end of the day with their high unrealistic APY to lure you in, and then shutting off withdrawals and preventing you from basically recovering any of your potential losses. You also have this here. It's the basically Supreme Court of the state of New York, the plaintiff Celsius Network and Celsius KeyFi Limited or LLC here. This is the suit that is in place. So here's where you're at as far as all of this is concerned. We kind of covered the whole basis of it, but here's the official document. It's linked down below if you guys want to go into it in particular, into the particulars surrounding it. So thanks for checking out this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. You can check out the full episode here or more crypto content down here. Also, I'd like you to check out my locals page at sonofatech.locals.com, where you can become a member for free or choose to be a $5 a month supporter that unlocks additional content.